Why is it that a Michelin star restaurant can charge over £100 for a steak, but your local Wetherspoons can't even charge £10 for a steak? Why is that? Well, it's all about reputation, right? Reputation for excellence. And where does that come from? Well, it's built up over time, but a lot comes from reviews. Michelin star restaurants, how they get in that Michelin guide is they get someone who comes in and inspects them and rates and reviews their business. And when they get that amazing review, that's when they can pretty much name their price, because people will come flocking to them to buy that amazing steak. It's the same with reviews for any business. Obviously there are different levels, but reviews are absolutely essential in this day and age to be able to get your business visible to people, to get your business found, to get your online reputation out there so that people know the kind of amazing service that you offer, the kind of standard that they can expect from your business. And just think about it. Think about the last time you travelled to a foreign city, for example. How did you find out which restaurant you wanted to go and eat at? Well, maybe you used TripAdvisor, or maybe you did a Google search. But I bet that you looked at those reviews, those Google reviews, those TripAdvisor reviews. And let's face it, you're much more likely to choose a restaurant that's got 5-star reviews than you are a restaurant that's only got 2-star reviews. Well, if it works for restaurants, it works for service businesses too. It works for products as well. When you buy something online, do you look at the Amazon reviews? I know I do. Whatever it is now, in this day and age, what people do when they want to buy a product or service is they search online and they read the reviews. So if your business has loads of 5-star reviews all over the internet, then that is going to set you ahead of 99% of the competition in your area. That's going to enable customers to start flocking to your business because they want you because of your fantastic online reputation. But how do you do it? How do you build up an online reputation? That's what we're going to talk about in this lesson. And the number one step is this. It's very simple, and the ball's in your court. You need to offer a 5-star level of customer service. From the moment that the contact happens with a customer, that initial contact, right the way through to the end of the job, sending the paperwork, the invoice, the certificates, the customer paying you, they need to have a smooth and enjoyable experience. You need to give the customer an experience that shouts high quality from start to finish. And if they have that experience, then they're going to be very, very happy to leave you a positive review. Just like if you've eaten out at a restaurant and you were absolutely blown away, it was fantastic and it surpassed your expectations, what do you naturally want to do? You go and shout about it to the whole world because you want other people to find out about this amazing restaurant. And it's the same with anything. If somebody finds you and they find that they really enjoy having you work for them, they will shout it from the rooftops, so to speak. And you can ask them to do that online. The online rooftop is the review platform so that your online reputation gets known to other people and it will spread like that. So in order to get high quality, regular 5-star reviews, you can't just leave it to chance. You need to have a system in place whereby you ask for those reviews. Because often customers with all the best will in the world, they'll just forget to leave you a review, even if you ask them to before the job started. What I do is when I'm sending the invoice and certificate, in that email, I send a link and I say something like this. Thank you so much for having Artisan Electrics working for you. If you're happy with our services, if you would be able to just leave us a review on Google, it would really help our business because our business spreads a lot by word of mouth. And your review will help to contribute to that. And then just leave the link there. And all they have to do, you can copy the Google review link from your Google review page, very simple. All they have to do is click the link and it pops up with a little box they can write their review and choose a number of stars, and you just make it as simple and easy for them as possible. So that link that you get will be through Google Maps or your Google My Business page. It's very simple to get that link. And that just means that you're making it as easy as possible for the customer to leave you a review. Because let's face it, people's time is precious. So if it takes 5 or 10 minutes to leave a review, they probably won't do it. But if you make it simple and quick, 30 seconds, they'll quite happily oblige, I'm sure, and leave you that review. Now, what they write in that review is also quite important, because what Google does, and this is quite amazing, not a lot of people know this, is it picks up on keywords that come out in your reviews. So for example, your products and services, if those services are mentioned in the review, it will often pull out the names of those services from your reviews, and it will rank you better for those services if you've got good reviews mentioning those services. So for example, if they say, Jordan came out and rewired our house for us, he did an amazing job, he was so conscientious from start to finish, we wouldn't hesitate to recommend Jordan's company to other people in the future. Guess what? Google will pull out the fact that it mentioned rewire and maybe conscientious or punctual or neat, little words like that, little keywords, and Google will go, oh great, and then it will start to push you out to other people who are looking for rewires. Same with electric vehicle charging, for example, or smart lighting, or whatever your service is that has been mentioned in the review. If you ask the customer to mention that specific service that you did for them in the review, that will just really help to get you bumped up in the search rankings on Google for that specific keyword. So that's a nice little tip for you to do when it comes to reviews. But the number one thing here is what we go back to at the start. You need to be offering 5-star customer service right from the beginning, because if you don't do that, people aren't going to give you 5-star reviews. If you are matching that high level of customer service, people will be much more likely to give you those reviews. And the kind of customers who appreciate your service, they will share it out. They'll leave you a review and they'll help you to build up that online reputation. Now, should you just aim for Google reviews, or should you go for other platforms? Well, I found that it's good to have reviews on different platforms. So we talked about Google My Business. That's probably the number one, because that's where you want to get a lot of good reviews that you'll really be visible on there. But you can also get reviews on other platforms which will all be fed back into Google. So what often will happen is under your Google My Business page, it will say something like reviews from other platforms, and it will show your reviews from those platforms as well. For example, ratedpeople.com, My Builder, Checkertrade, Facebook, all of those platforms, Trustpilot. If you've got reviews on there, it will show your ratings on those platforms as well. And for me, as a customer, I think it would be much more convincing to see that a company has 5-star reviews across various different platforms, rather than only having 5-star reviews on one platform. Now you might wonder though, and you might be a little bit worried about, what if somebody leaves you a bad review? And that is a really good question. What do I do if somebody leaves me a bad review? It's a fear that we all have, I think, as business owners, that one day somebody might get upset with you and then they might leave you a bad review. Well, if that happens, it's not the end of the world. That's the first thing that you need to remember. What you're aiming for is 5-star customer service. Now, just like in a restaurant, something might go wrong. It does happen. We all make mistakes. Maybe, a hair ends up in somebody's soup. That might even happen at a Michelin star restaurant. People make mistakes. And it's not necessarily the mistake that is the problem, but it's how you deal with that mistake, which could lead to the outcome of either a 5-star review or a 1-star review. So, for example, if you're in that Michelin star restaurant and you find a hair in your soup, if you mention it to them and they instantly sort it out for you, they take away that bowl of soup, they give you a fresh bowl of soup, they give you an apology, maybe they even give you a discount on a dish or something like that. The way they dealt with it actually is brilliant. They've dealt with it so well, and you can forgive them for that. And then you could actually go, well, even when they make mistakes, this company deals with it in a 5-star kind of way. So you might leave them a happy, good review still because they've dealt with it in such a good way. Whereas on the flip side, if you mention that hair in the soup to someone and they say, oh no, there isn't a hair in your soup, what are you talking about? We would never leave a hair in your soup. Or they just kind of pluck the hair out of the soup and just, drop it in the bin and then they let you eat the rest of the soup. Well, that's when you might not be very happy with the outcome of that particular event. If that happens and they've not dealt with it very well, you're much more likely to leave a negative review. So what am I getting at? What's my point here? Well, the point is this. If you do make a mistake on a job and you upset a customer or you do something wrong, which does happen from time to time, we're all imperfect, how you rectify that mistake will be the difference for you between getting a 5-star review and getting a 1-star review. So you want to rectify any mistakes or any issues with a customer before you ever ask for a review. But what if there's an issue that you don't even know about? The customer hadn't told you about it, but they've gone online and they've left you a bad review. What do you do then? Well, again, communication is key here. So what you need to do is get in touch with the customer and say, dear customer, I'm really sorry I noticed that you've left us a negative review. I wasn't aware of the issue, but I'd really like to get this resolved so that we can remove that 1-star review because we want to make sure that you are absolutely happy with our services. So please tell me, what can I do to rectify the situation? Maybe offer some suggestions of what you can do to rectify the situation. A 1-star review can cost your business a lot because it affects your reputation. It's a dent in your reputation. So it's worth it, even if you have to say to the customer, look, I won't charge you. I'll give you a full refund if you remove that review. Unless it's tens of thousands of pounds worth of work or something, it is worth bending over backwards to get that review removed because that will damage your reputation. Now, if it's one bad review out of 100, that's not going to put a dent in your reputation, really, because all businesses get the odd bad review. Sometimes keyboard warriors, they just come out of the woods and they leave you a bad review even though they've never dealt with your business before. Some people just like to make other people's lives miserable for no apparent reason, just because they're nasty people. So if it's like 1 in 50 is bad, well, don't get too upset about that. That's not going to bring your star rating down much at all. It might take it down from a 5-star to a 4.9 stars or something like that. That's absolutely fine. But at the start of the business, let's say you've only got 4, 5, 6 reviews. If one of those is a negative review, that can really impact things badly. So that's when you really need to be especially careful when you're growing your business at the start to get 5-star reviews every single time and do whatever you can to make sure that customers give you excellent reviews, excellent feedback. The more you do that and the more you get these reviews building up consistently over a long period of time, over months, that reputation is really going to build up to become so strong that when people Google electricians in your area, you will rank higher because Google likes to push good businesses to its customers. At the end of the day, Google is there to try and help people who are searching to find what they need. So Google is aiming for customer satisfaction, right? Just like you are. So if you're Googling something, Google wants you to be satisfied with the outcome of that search, the outcome that it provides to you. So logically, it's going to push people to you who it thinks are going to satisfy your need. If someone's Googling an electrician, it's going to push 5-star electricians to that customer because it knows that those kind of electricians that get good 5-star reviews are going to provide the service that the customer is really looking for. So, what is my lesson to you? Never underestimate the power of online reviews. They are absolutely vital if you want to level up your business and just beat 90% of the competition. Get as many 5-star reviews as you can and that will be one of the massive keys to you in getting loads of organic leads generated for your business in the future.